In this video, we're going to talk about subtracting unlike fractions. Now, we've done quite a bit of adding unlike fractions, and subtracting is a similar method, but it's a four-step. I've been talking about these four steps that you do to get your final answer with adding unlike fractions. We're going to do the same four steps with subtracting unlike fractions. So, step one. Step one is to find the least common denominator. LCD, least common denominator. I set up my little chart like this. One denominator is 10 and one denominator is 2. So then I do multiples of those numbers. So I do 10, 20, 30. Okay? And then I'm going to do multiples of 2. And when I'm doing them and I get to one of these, like the least one, if I get to this one, I stop. If I get to this one, I stop. If I get to this one, I stop. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 is my least common denominator. So that is step one, to find the least common denominator. I found it in this problem with these two fractions. The least common denominator is 10. Now, step two is to make fractions that are equivalent to these that each have the denominator of 10. So, 8 tenths equals something over 10. And I go times what equals 10? Well, 10 times 1 equals 10. So I do the same on the top. 8 times 1 equals 8 tenths. Okay? And we know that 8 tenths is already has the 10 as the denominator. But I did that just to follow through on my steps. So that one, I have this one, 1/2 equals something over 10. So I have to ask myself, 2 times what gets me to 10? Well, 2 times 5. And if I do it to the bottom, I do it to the top. Times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, there we go. I have 8 tenths and 5 tenths. Now, I have to keep these numbers in order. See how it starts 8 tenths minus 1/2? So I figured this one out first, which is right here. So we're going to call this one A. This is A. Okay? So if 8 tenths is equivalent to 8 tenths, and this is step 3. Step 3. I take my 8 tenths and I minus, and this one we'll call B, and here I have this one, the equivalent B. These are the same, so I take A minus B. I got to keep those in the same order. Okay? So then, now that they have the same denominator, I could take that over, and then I just do the subtraction. 8 minus 5 is 3. So, I have 3 tenths. Step 4 is to reduce. Can I take 3 tenths and make it any simpler? Well, 3 doesn't go into 10. They're both not even. The only numbers that go into 3 would be 3 and 1, and since 3 doesn't, nope, that's the simplest I get. So I can't reduce it. So 3 tenths. So 8 tenths minus 1/2 equals 3 tenths. Okay, you got to follow those 4 steps. It's really important. And you got to keep them in line. 8 tenths, 8 tenths, and we'll call this A also. A. That's the one that's always first. And then here in the problem, B, and then B. And then you do A, this one minus B, and this gets you your answer. And then you have to reduce it if you can. Okay? 4 steps. Least common denominator, find that first. Then make the equivalent fractions that have the least common denominator, keeping them in the same order. You can kind of see these go to here, go to here. Never did I cross them. That's critical. If you cross them, you're going to get a different answer. So here, now with the least common denominator, step 3 is to actually do the subtraction, and then step 4, do I need to reduce? All right, follow those 4 steps, and you should be able to subtract unlike fractions every time.